South Korea, Tuesday night. President Yoon Suk-yeol made a shocking announcement. He declared martial law. The country was in a state of emergency, he claimed. The army was now in control. Why? President Yoon pointed fingers at the opposition party. He accused them of siding with North Korea. He claimed they were blocking his government's work. The news spread like wildfire. People were glued to their TVs and phones. This wasn't a drill. This was a real attempt to seize absolute power. The president had just pulled the rug out from under his own democracy. The reaction was immediate and angry. South Koreans from all walks of life weren't having it. This was a country with a hard-won democracy. They weren't about to let a power grab take it away. Protests erupted in the streets. People chanted slogans against the president. Politicians too voiced their outrage. Both the ruling and opposition parties condemned the declaration. Even members of Yoon's own party were blindsided. This wasn't some carefully planned maneuver. This was a desperate and possibly very stupid power grab. The heart of the resistance was the National Assembly. Parliamentarians rushed to the Parliament building. The military, now following the president's orders, tried to block them. They wanted to prevent a legislative session, but the lawmakers were undeterred. They pushed through the military cordon. They knew they had a duty. They were the representatives of the people. And the people had spoken. This coup would not stand. Inside the Parliament building, the mood was tense. But the lawmakers were united. In a resounding show of defiance, they held their session. The vote was unanimous. Martial law was rejected. Wednesday morning arrived. The coup attempt had failed. President Yoon was forced to back down. He reversed the martial law declaration. But the damage was done. The president's credibility was shot. His own administration was falling apart. Calls for his resignation were growing louder by the hour. High-ranking officials abandoned ship. Presidential aides, vice presidents, even cabinet ministers resigned in protest. The labor union, a powerful force in South Korea, called for a nationwide strike. Their demand? President Yoon's resignation. Section 5, A History of Defiance. This wasn't just about one president's bad decisions. This was about the spirit of South Korea. This was a country that had tasted authoritarianism, and they had fought tooth and nail to overcome it. They knew that democracy was precious, and they were willing to fight to protect it. Seoul, the capital, had a long history of protest. Student uprisings, labor strikes, mass demonstrations. They were all part of the city's DNA. This was a population that wasn't afraid to make its voice heard. They had stared down dictators before. They weren't about to back down from a president who thought he could become one. Section 6, A Tale of Two Koreas. The contrast couldn't be starker. To the north, North Korea, a totalitarian regime, ruled by a dynasty of dictators, where dissent was met with brutal repression. And then there was South Korea, a vibrant democracy, with a free press and a robust civil society. This wasn't just a geographical divide. This was a clash of ideologies. The attempted coup had shown the world what South Korea stood for. They had chosen freedom over fear. They had chosen democracy over dictatorship. Section 7, The Fourth Estate stands strong. The role of the media in all of this cannot be overstated. South Korea had a free and independent press, and they took that responsibility seriously. They reported on the coup attempt with courage and integrity. They didn't shy away from criticizing the president. They questioned the military's actions. They provided a platform for opposition voices. They kept the public informed. This wasn't state-controlled propaganda. This was journalism at its finest, and it played a vital role in thwarting the coup. Section 8, Winners and Losers. The biggest loser was obvious. President Yoon Suk-yeol had gambled his presidency, and he had lost. His reputation was in tatters. His own party wanted nothing to do with him. Impeachment was a real possibility. The military, too, emerged with a black eye. They had allowed themselves to be used in a political power grab. Even though they had ultimately stood down, their reputation had taken a hit. The winners? The South Korean people. They had shown the world what courage and a commitment to democracy looked like. Section 9, The Future of Korean Democracy. The attempted coup was a wake-up call. It was a reminder that democracy is fragile, that it needs to be defended. The events in South Korea were a victory for democracy. But the fight wasn't over. The future of South Korea's democracy would depend on the continued vigilance of its people. They had shown that they were up to the task. the world would be watching.